Hi guys, and as usual, welcome to another kit review. Hope you're all well. So today we're going to be having a look at another kit by ICM. So this kit was produced in 2013. It is a rebox of a original kit which came out in 2011, and it is the 1/35 scale Type G4 Kfz.21 World War II German staff car. Kit number is 35538. So even though ICM, for copyright reasons, can't say it, this is a Mercedes-Benz G4. Okay, so the G4 was basically an all-terrain staff car. Okay, it's got 6 wheels, and yes, all 6 wheels could be driven at the same time. It had a selector switch for that. Okay, so that's the box. Fairly straightforward. Nice rendering of the vehicle. So if anyone remembers the old TV series called Hogan's Heroes, in one of the opening shots, I believe it's driving out through the gate, you will see one of these. At the time, it was one of the only, I think, 4 Mercedes-Benz G4s still in existence. Okay, and yes, if you ever get to see that TV series on again, just keep an eye out for the opening credits. You'll see an actual G4 driving out through the gates. That's just mind-boggling that they used it for a TV show. I love it. What happened to it after that? I have no idea, unfortunately. Anyway, on with the review. Let's have a look at the box. Usual brief description of the vehicle itself. Built by and designed by Benz in 1934. Okay, only 72 G4s built until 1939. Okay, 307 parts in this kit. 14 plus, as usual. All model kits are 14 plus. All right, below 14, you should be building kits with adult supervision, except for the fact that when I was way much younger than that, back in the 60s, and yes, I'm that old, I was building model kits all by myself. Okay, onwards and upwards. Adult collectors only, rubbish. Okay, and on the other side, as usual, for an older ICM kit, you'll see on the side 3 view drawings of the kit in an overall dark grey colour scheme. Right, so that's the box. Okay, older style ICM box. So we'll put that aside. So older style instructions. Now I believe I did get this one off the internet a long time ago, so that's why most of it's not in the plastic bags. All right, instructions, we'll have a look at those shortly. Let's have a look at the sprues. All right, 1 sprue, that's seats, etc. Next sprue out is, looks like running gear and wheels, yep, and exhaust pipes. We'll have a detailed look at those in a second anyway. This looks like body parts, yes, doors, front, running boards. Okay, your canopy and a couple of accessories for inside. Steering wheel and frame members for the chassis. The plastic bag that all of this should be in. Like I said, I did get this off the internet, so the previous owner has at least left the clear parts and all the loose parts in. So we'll have a look at those. The loose parts look to be decals and the engine. Alright, so we'll have a look at those shortly. I'll get rid of that, and we'll have a look at the instructions in a minute. Okay, so let's have a look at the instructions. So as I said, this is a 2013 kit. I did pick it up off the internet. It cost me about $25 Australian. So it's kind of, I think, as you can tell by the instructions, it's been around a little bit, although it still seems to be all there. So instructions, Ukrainian, English, specifications about the vehicle. Maximum speed, it says, is 67 kilometers an hour. I'd say that would be cross-country on dirt roads. Okay, I'm sure it would go faster than that on a paved road. Anyway, color callouts. Okay, old school ICM, model master only, and there are only 11 color callouts for this vehicle. Okay, usual cautions about clean the model first, glue and paint not included, etc. Okay, so let's have a look. All right, so what we have here are the sprues, and strangely enough it says that even though they're included, I guess because there's a couple of parts on here which are, okay, the canvas top is not actually used in this kit. It is actually open. All right, so you do get a folded one, but not a closed one. I'm pretty sure you could come to some arrangement with that. Anyway, let's have a look. Clear parts, as usual. There is only 6 sprues in the whole thing. All right, so fairly straightforward. Tires are one piece. So this does come with an engine, okay, and the engine does have bits and pieces on it like manifolds, etc. So I guess if you wanted to, you could somehow keep the hood open and display the engine. Entirely up to you. Okay, so as you can tell, the main chassis is actually not one piece, it is separate parts, and that's the trickiest part, is actually putting the chassis together and keeping it straight. These are your tires. As I said, they are one piece. When we have a look at the sprues, we'll see what kind of tread they've got. Color callouts all the way through, and the good thing is color callouts for the engine. All right, so if it's possible, and if you wanted to, I guess you could leave the bonnet up, or as the Americans call it, a hood. All right, so next we've got chassis coming together with the engine in the middle of it. Basically, engine sits there. Then you've got your steering, suspension, and it is quite complex. There's a lot of parts to this. Okay, a differential. So once that's all together, and remembering that this, it does have 6 wheels, right? So it does have 2 diffs, right? Because the back wheels were driven. And yes, I believe you could actually drive all 6 wheels if necessary. This thing was built for cross country. Exhaust pipe. Now the exhaust pipe is not one piece, it's several pieces. So alright, that's another one that's going to be tricky to put together. Then you've just got your steering, diffs go together, wheels go on, and that's your main chassis finished, and then it comes down to the body. So as you can tell, the body is again quite complex. You've got sides, several pieces for the front, okay, this is your boot section, and then that all goes onto the floor pan with pedals and levers, okay, and it does seem to have interior door frames for between the doors, but I don't think the doors are, you could open them. Okay, And then we get on to putting in the windows. All right, you've got mud guards for the 4 back wheels, seats with color callouts. All right, the doors, color callouts for the interior of the doors. Okay, and then the seats. Okay, so as you can see, one main back seat, 2 individual seats, and a front seat. This is the layout. This is the basic layout of what ICM called the G4 leader's car, which is basically one of Adolf Hitler's fully armoured limousines. Okay, then you've got, so it is possible to leave the bonnet open if necessary. You just have to look and see online what kind of internal bracing it required, whether it needed a rod to keep it open, or whether it had bracing struts in the engine bay, etc. Lights go on the front. As you can tell, these instructions are not stapled together, they're just folded together. Body goes on the chassis, front radiator grille, bonnet goes on, lights, and that's basically the car. And then after that, you've just got steering wheel, which is a 2-piece, and a couple of other accessories going like rear vision mirror, etc. You folded down top cover, and you've got mirror, your what they used to call those, basically your size indicators that go on the front, and there you have it. So there's a couple of views of the vehicle. So you've got top view and a bottom view to show you exactly what it looks like underneath. 6-wheeled plus 2 spares. Alright, and then colouring. So you've only got decals for 2 vehicles. Germany 1939, Germany 1940. Okay, so very basic. There are no unit divisional insignia, just your number plates, and that's just about all you get. Plus a flag, which you probably wouldn't use on this vehicle if it's a staff car. That's the kind of thing that you'd find on Adolf Hitler's car. Anyway, that's the instructions. Let's have a look at the decals. Very basic. 2 number plates. Okay, that is Adolf Hitler's personal standard without the swastika. That's just a standard flag, I guess, without the swastika. And you've got decals for your instruments. That's all there is. Alright, so 2 number plates, and so basically, even though it shows 2 colour things for 2 cars, it is only 1 car. Anyway, in a second we'll have a look at the sprues. Alright, so here we are back, and first we will have a look at the clear parts. Okay, so side windows, front window, headlights, they look clear. There doesn't appear to be too much in the way of hazing or anything like this on these. So, yep, of course, I'll give you stills of all this as we go through it anyway. So now the clear looks really nice, actually. Very, very clear. What else can I say? Okay, let's put that aside. And let's have a look at... Alright, so this is your neck sprue. These are frame parts for the chassis, your exhaust parts, handles for inside and outside the doors, and a two-piece steering wheel, which will be extremely, and I mean extremely, hard to get off in one piece. Because as you can see, this is the interior of the steering wheel, and it is connected in 4 spots with pips on it as well. And that's the exterior. Okay, and that also has 4 connection points. So a lot of care taking that one off, I think. Apart from that, lots of molding pips. Okay, some very delicate parts, but not too much flash on here that I can see. Alright, so let's put that aside. And the next one. And the next one will be... Okay, this is the canvas cover. A lot of plastic flow marks in here, but you don't actually use this. You only use a couple of these parts here, and that's it. So this will probably end up in your spares box, but it's good to have a look at it anyway. Not much interior for something that's supposed to fold up. It should have ridges in it. They have some sort of bracing, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So that's your canopy. Next we will have a look at the bodywork, which I do have a loose part. Okay, running boards. This is your bonnet. So if you want that folded, you're going to have to cut down the middle. There's your front radiator. There is detail here, but it's very fine detail on the front radiator cover, so whether that will show up once it's painted, I couldn't tell you. Right, mud guards for the back wheels, bottom of the body, doors, front of the vehicle. As I said, 1, 2, 3 parts to make up the front of the vehicle, and it's connected at the top of the windscreen, which will be very difficult, very difficult to get off without damaging it too much, especially as it has already molding pips on it, and it's already showing stress right there. The windscreen wipers are already molded on. Okay, inside, there's your inside detail for the doors. So it's not separate like they have on some cars. This is all one piece. Nicely molded though. You know, nice bit of detail. Okay, so that's that one. Next we will have a look at this, and we'll just put that aside. Alright, so this is your running gear. Your diffs, your suspension. Alright, these are all your bits and pieces that go together, your drive shafts, axles, etc. There's even some handles and very fine parts, but the connection to the sprue is quite heavy. Tires. So there's 3 tires that came loose. There, I don't know if you can see that. There is, about there somewhere, tread pattern, but there is a mold line right down the middle, which will have to be removed. Otherwise, the bolt detail is quite nice. Okay, So yeah, but definitely the hardest part is always getting rid of that mold line down the middle of a tyre like this, which is why I like the ones where there's actually 5 pieces. They're a bit more fiddly, but they do give you a really nice tread pattern. Okay, so put that aside, and that's basically it for this sprue. So like I said, some very fine parts here. We'll take some very careful cutting to get those off without destroying them or losing them. Alright, so that's your running gear, and then you've got the last sprue. So there's only, when I say 5-6 sprues in this, okay, and that's it there. And I can show you these belong to this sprue. That's the engine block, which is not bad. Detail's pretty good. Alright, so like I said, it does have an engine, but it will take a little bit of work to open the bonnet up so you can actually see it. So put those away and let's have a look at the rest of it. So that is your main chassis member. So the chassis is one of these where you unfortunately have to put it together and make sure it's straight, otherwise it's not going to fit. So it's read the instructions and see if you can actually fix the chassis to the bottom of the car first. That will ensure that it is straight. So most of these are engine parts or diff parts. Okay, fan belts, pulleys. That is your fan, and that is again going to be a hard one to get off without destroying. It's fixed to the sprue in 3 places right in the middle of each blade, so that's going to be a tricky one. Seats, okay, folded cover. Seats have detail, although it's not super deep. It will show up quite well under painting. A lot of this has plastic flow marks on it. It won't show up once you've painted it, but it is prevalent throughout the whole kit, this particular kit anyway, that the plastic flow marks are quite obvious on every single part. Okay, so there's your dashboard. Like I said, you do have decals which go on here, and apart from that, more fine parts, extremely fine parts with heavy connections. So yeah, it's going to be tricky getting those off without losing them or breaking them. Okay, but overall there's a lot of molding pips but not a great deal of flash. Okay, so that is the last sprue for this vehicle. Okay, so that is basically the end of this review. What I do like about ICM is everything comes in resealable bags. Alright, some manufacturers you'll get a resealable bag that has the clears in it, everything else you have to cut open. ICM, all their bags are usually all resealable. Makes it much easier when you have a lot of loose parts. Okay, so that's it for this review. I hope that you got something from it. Like I said, check out Hogan's Heroes next time it's on TV. You'll see one of these, a real one of these, driving through the gates of the prison camp. Anyway, that brings us to the end. Until next time, take it easy.